The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and are not those of WKYU-TV, its management, or WKU.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Topper Talk's back in the saddle, bringing you 30 minutes of great WKU sports talk. The usual suspects are here, including myself, Sean Williams, Shane Bearden, Woody White. We're all here. Welcome, fellas.
Good to be here.
I'll ask a question. We had a lot of stuff going on this past week in the WKU sports world. Where should we start? Should we start with the good, Hilltopper Hysteria, or should we start with the bad, the loss to Lafayette?
You just want to get the bad over with.
You guys want to get the bad out of the way? Yeah. All right. Let's get the bad out of the way. Let's talk about this 37-20 defeat to Lafayette on a big stage, Tuesday night, primetime game, ESPN2. Unfortunately, the tops came up a little bit short.
It's got to be the black jerseys. It's got to be. As sharp as they looked and as good as they looked, we just can't win.
Yeah, we talked about that. You brought up a good point, Shane. Discussed your theories on the alternate jerseys and how much bad luck that our sports teams seem to have in those.
I'm pretty sure it's something like Western sports across the board are 0-19 when wearing black jerseys, black alternate jerseys. The gray, it's probably even more than that because we wore those a little more. But I can't, to my recollection, remember any Western team wearing the alternate gray or black jerseys and winning a game.
Yeah, well, that's a good stat. Well, I don't know if that's accurate, but
I don't know if it's completely accurate. I didn't do all my research.
For us, please.
If there are wins, there's not very many for sure.
But yeah, I mean, I can't think of any. You know, I've thought about it, and I can't think of any win where we wore an alternate
really,
jersey.
Honestly, especially when you think about football, you think back in football lore, the times they wore black jerseys and throw it out on a special night. It hasn't come up very good for the Hilltoppers, but
I said it a couple weeks ago. Just those like the blackouts and whiteouts in general.
You're not a big fan of those?
I just feel like they never work out well.
Yeah, they don't for the most part. I don't know. They just don't seem to really work out too well here, at least.
We just need to stick with the red outs.
That's what
I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, I mean that's our prime colors. So I think you're onto something there. You know, you got a point there. Why white out the stadium when our colors are really red? You know, if we're going to be wearing the red, we're at the red homes.
I'm sure like 20,000 black shirts look cool on TV, but I think, you get 20,000 red shirts.
We're not doing this for TV effect, man. It's all about wins.
I want to win games.
It's what it should be about when it comes down to it.
Well, and part of the black jerseys too is recruiting. And I know, people say, is a kid really going to, make a choice on a school just because of the uniforms? And if it comes down to the wire and both teams are even, who's to say a kid ain't going to say, well, this team looks better, know. I like both schools, but this team looks better, so let's go here.
It works for Oregon, that's for sure.
I have seen several, recruits, and even I worked with a lot of high schoolers, like coaching soccer and stuff, and I heard a lot of comments about the uniforms. So whether they make decisions based on that or not, still, it's all part of the.
But it gets your name out there. People talk about you, and
We all agree that it's a great idea. The uniforms.
We just got to win in them.
They did look great.
What they need to do is, if they're going to do a blackout, they need to schedule it for like Morgan State or somebody like that, so that you're going to get the win.
One of those obscure FCS teams.
And then that monkey is off your back.
That's a good point, man. You bring up a very good point.
I like it.
Save that stuff for the obscure FCS teams who play. Throw some red outs every once in a while for big games like Lafayette.
You just got to get that monkey off your back. Then you can wear the black jerseys if you want to. As long as you know you can win in them.
Gets a good direction. Well,
makes sense to me for sure.
I agree with you. All right, 37-20. Of course, WKU gets off to a nice start. 10-zip. They're up 10-zip, and then disaster strikes on 4th and goal from the 1-yard line.
I was having David Elson flashbacks with David Wolke against North Texas from 08, I think.
And shotgun at the 1.
Yeah.
Okay,
maybe not quite that bad, sorry.
No. Yeah, 4th and 1, I myself, I always kind of praise a coach that goes for it in situations like that, to kind of, put the foot down, because you're up 10-0. You punched in the end zone there, you're up 17-0. You got all the momentum in the world to start the game off, and they have to climb from way behind. You're digging Lafayette a big hole there. But let's talk about the play call. Do you think it was the right play call to maybe do a rollout pass with Dowdy instead of go to Antonio Andrews, your main guy?
Well, here's where I agree with you and disagree. I mean, I agree that, especially with our coach and with our offensive line and our running back, on a 4th and 1, you go for it. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I would say that if you had an offensive line that you didn't have a lot of faith in, or a running back that you didn't have a lot of faith in, then you might consider kicking field goal or something like that.
Yeah.
But for us, we have a great offensive line, and you have an All-American running back who's leading the nation in rushing, leading the nation, is top 5 in several other statistical categories.
Yeah.
Give him the ball.
I think that's a lot of
at a half a
people
yard,
play.
if you're telling me he can't get half a yard, then
it's kind of like, hey, good job, but you still got 99
you stopped
yards
us,
to
but
go.
you still got 99 and a half yards to
Yeah.
go back the other way.
Got 99 yards, but what JC says.
But
Can't
even
say
like-
that on TV.
But even like we were talking about before the show, even if you do decide to pass there to catch him off guard, if you don't have a pass, it's better to throw the ball out, and get rid of it than try to force a play that's
Yeah.
not there, because then they still have to go 99 and a half yards.
Yeah, I think worst case scenario on that rollout, if nothing's there, just throw the ball in the stands and live to fight another day. But it's hot topic, of course, conversation, because people look back to the game, look at that play. Al Riles returns at 99 yards for Louisiana Lafayette, and it seems like the momentum kind of switched over to them all of a sudden. That was probably a big momentum swing when you get a big play like that. But
I think you could see the Western players kind of start to hang their head, and almost kind of like a here we go again kind of thing. The turnover bug is just, it's a bit hard this year.
It has been hard. You kind of bring up a good point. Sorry about that. I had to cough.
That's
Something
all
in my
right.
throat. Sorry, man. But you bring up a good point. You kind of think about, you look back to Western Kentucky's 3 losses. I think I did some research. 14 turnovers in those losses.
Gosh.
65 total points scored by the other team off those turnovers. So, and you look at the Lafayette game, you got 3 turnovers. It wasn't just the Dowdy. I know we kind of are pointing out the interception return.
Well, I think that's because that was the big momentum.
That was the big momentum swing.
But
there was a couple other turnovers by Mitchell Henry, the fumbles, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But, what are your thoughts on this, Woody? Shane said, hey, give it to Andrews, see if he can get half a yard.
I didn't mind the call to go for it at all. I think I agree with you. 4th and 1, go for it, try to step on their throats a little bit. But you've got a quarterback that's proven, his decision making when he's on the move isn't necessarily the best. So like you said, give it to Andrews, Leon Allen, Keyshawn Simpson, any of them that have proven time and time again that they can get a yard.
Yeah, that's another good point you bring up. You got a solid offensive line. You also have, aside from Andrews, you have big
Leon
running
Allen.
backs like Leon Allen, Keyshawn Simpson back there. stack the line
or even
up.
Kadeem Jones.
Yeah.
Or Nick Bosch.
Well, Dowdy's like 6'4", let him do a sneak.
Yeah.
just reach the ball out.
Stack the line, put a fullback in there like Bosch, and then, hand it off to Andrews, Allen, or Simpson, and I think you're probably good to go. But, hey, this is a talk show, and that's what we do. We second-guess things like that. But, and I think in this situation, I think we kind of all agree. You give it to Andrews or the 2 other options at running back, see if you can get that half yard. If not, they got 99 yards to go. Rely on your defense, who was playing really quite well in the first half, all things considered. But obviously, big momentum swing there, and kind of from there, it was all downhill. I think they outscored Western, 37-3 for a short length of time until they got that touchdown there in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So, that was a huge momentum swing, for Lafayette, and they took full advantage of it as well.
Well, and before that point, Western was just dominating every facet of the game. They were outgaining them in offense. At that point, I don't think Lafayette had even completed a pass.
Yeah, Lafayette was having some problems offensively as well with high snaps, fumbled snaps. But it seems like Terrence probably, we talked about it last week on the show, dual threat quarterback. Seems like whenever stuff like that happened, whenever he would drop a snap, he would actually pick it up and run for 9 yards.
Well,
So,
that's another thing that was big though, was missed tackles.
Yeah.
They just weren't wrapping up. Defense wasn't wrapping up.
That was a huge
and it
issue
was,
in the second half for sure.
Yeah, but all those fumbled snaps and stuff that Broadway was getting, we were hitting him in the backfield, and then he was just escaping the tackle and then running for a first down. He did that on 2 separate occasions.
Shifty, man. Come on, you got to tackle him.
All you got to do is wrap up.
Yeah. But, you kind of look at that. That's, the interception return, probably the hugest momentum swing of the game. But then you have, the Hilltoppers' next possession. You had the Mitchell Henry fumble, sets them up with good field position. They score again. And, of course, missed the extra point. Western did a good job of fighting back toward the end of the half. They got it to 13-13. They got a good drive together there at the end, and Garrett Schwetman hit the field goal.
You can still be a little optimistic at that point.
You can, you can
up.
be real optimistic at that point. It's it's tied up, it's an even game, so you come out in the second half and give it your best effort. But unfortunately, the defense didn't really give it their best effort. Lafayette chose to, instead of use, the talents of Broadway passing and running, they just ran the ball down our throats with Elijah McGuire and Alonzo Harris. Those guys could not be stopped in the second half. And it's like you said, Shane, Western Kentucky's defense just they didn't really do a good job of wrapping up. And
No, I mean, they were hitting him at both of the running backs were getting hit at the line of scrimmage, and they were bouncing off tackles, spinning off tackles, everything you could think of, because our guys just weren't wrapping up and waiting on help to get
Yeah.
there and gang tackle them.
Yeah, and like I said, it was just one of those performances. Like, I don't know if Western just didn't know what was coming at them or anything like that, but it was just poor tackling on their part, and I don't know if they were expecting a lot more passing from Lafayette or what. But
Then on the flip side, Lafayette, every time we would catch a ball or something like that, they were going for the football and
yeah.
stripping it
a
and
very aggressive defense.
Yeah.
I mean,
You said his name earlier. I forgot. The guy that kept taking the ball away from Henry, the tall white linebacker.
Justin Anderson.
There you go.
Yeah.
He played a heck of a game. Yeah, I was super impressed by him. He was making all kinds of
he's
plays.
their best. He was their top tackler coming
Yeah.
into the game. So I mean, obviously he's their number one playmaker on defense.
He was solid for sure.
I think he's got multiple. I think he had like 5.5 tackles for loss and an interception. So I mean, he did his job and he did it well. So
But as a tight end, you cannot let somebody come and take the ball out of your hands and then run the other way once, let alone twice in
Yeah.
a single game.
that was very odd to see. 2 fumbles from your tight end.
Yeah.
The same tight end, Mitchell Henry, just kind of had a bad game in that regard as far as turning the ball over. But like I said, those two fumbles right there led to Lafayette points and easy ones. That I know the last one that Henry had there I think it was early in the fourth quarter. One play and they're in the end zone off that Terrence Broadway pass. So I mean,
On another missed tackle.
another missed tackle. So I mean, it was a bad second half showing, especially defensively and everything like that. So I mean, obviously they have a lot to clean up. Luckily, they have extra time to do that for the Troy game. So we'll see how they come out and respond. I mean, it's going to be, like I said, they have a little bit extra time to work on things and get things together. But Petrino kind of said it today in the press conference. In those situations where you lose a game like that, you almost want to come back faster. It's like I kind of envy, baseball coaches and basketball coaches and kind of get over a loss that quickly, whereas a football team, we have extra days to sit there and kind of hopefully not think about it, but, I'm sure in the back of their minds they are.
They had 12 days leading up to the Lafayette game to try to iron out things, too. So usually when you give, Coach Petrino that kind of prep time on a team, it doesn't usually end up in the outcome that Tuesday's game did.
Yeah, well, maybe it's just because it was a Tuesday game. He's not
It might be.
not that used to
It
it.
did feel like he came there on Tuesday. I don't know.
We'll blame it on that.
I was actually
like it.
pretty impressed with the crowd that we had on a
I was
Tuesday
too.
night game as well.
I didn't
mean,
expect that many there.
Yeah, there was. This was a really good crowd. I mean, for a Tuesday night game and everything like that.
It was more than any other Sunbelt team has brought out for a Tuesday night game, that's for sure.
Tuesday night showdown, man. There you go. Well, anyway, we got, of course, Troy coming into town Saturday for the homecoming game. So what are you guys' thoughts about the Troy
I
game?
mean, it should be another good one. I mean, they can put up some points. Corey Robinson's been there for like 15 years now, throwing touchdowns.
Corey Robinson, the bazooka from Paducah, by the
Paducah
way.
passer.
Bazooka from Paducah.
Yeah.
But we've got to come out with a better defensive effort than we did against Lafayette for sure.
Yeah.
We've seen enough of Robinson over the years. We know what he's going to bring to the table, but it's still a matter of just whether you can stop him or not.
Yeah, the one thing about Robinson, they throw the ball a lot, and he's going to throw the ball a lot. He's going to get his yards, but he does have a tendency to throw interceptions as well. He's got 15 touchdowns and 7 picks on the year, so he's a little interception thrown. You've seen that. He had that great freshman year, and he's had great years after that, but he's thrown a lot more picks,
Yeah.
it seems like, since after his freshman year, so he's a little more prone. Of course, the thing about Troy, too, they aside from Robinson, you'll see that Deion Anthony, I believe is his name. Yeah, maybe. Deion Anthony, yeah.
Right.
I had it wrote down. I had to think of Deion's, I had Deion Sanders running through my mind, too.
It's like DeAnthony Thomas, too. for
Exactly,
one.
DeAnthony
just
Thomas.
combine everybody's
so,
names.
Yeah, but DeAnthony Thomas, he's a dual threat quarterback that they actually bring in for a few series every game. So you're going to see him too. Brings another dynamic to the game, as far as passing and running. So another dual threat quarterback to contend with.
Lovely.
Great.
Another area we're going to have to worry about is, it's an area every game, but the turnovers again, because Troy's defense comes into the game leading the Sunbelt in forced fumbles on the season.
Yes.
Also, their line leads the Sunbelt in tackles for a loss and sacks as well.
Great
so.
stats, but they're also horrible on
They're
giving up
horrible at
points and
pass
yardage.
defense.
464 total yards per game is what
Yep.
Troy gives up. That is incredible. 323 of those passing.
That's really
Yeah.
bad.
So
Yeah, their deep ball pass defense is horrendous.
yeah, so it makes you think, well, maybe the passing game can get back into the flow of things.
And they're not good at intercepting the ball either, so maybe that's a good thing.
Well, there you go. So, you know,
Hopefully.
things to watch, things to look out for. It almost makes you think that maybe we could have a potential shootout here. So, you know, we'll wait and see. One of those nice 48 to 45 games or something like that that last about 4.5 hours.
Gosh.
Let's
What do
not.
you think?
I mean, you know, we talked about going into the Navy game. We all thought that would be a shootout, and then
Yeah.
we just ended up
Yeah.
dominating that one. So hopefully
Yeah,
this
I
might be
threw,
another day
I
like
threw a
that.
shootout score out there. That was, it didn't go out
We
too well.
have some interaction on Twitter about the football game. Andrew Thomas wants to know, should Dowdy be expected to start Saturday, and do you think he should start?
Dowdy should be the starter, and yeah, I think he should start. I know a lot of people are going to point toward his interception woes, and you know that's a problem he's going to deal with. But you really look at it, and we kind of talked about this before the show. You really look at his stats. He had the one crippling interception Tuesday night, but you really look at his stats: 18 to 23 passing, very accurate. I mean, aside from that big mistake, I mean, he played a really good game. You know, and that really in the offense just needs to kind of curtail. Look, he's not going to run for 15 yards on a scramble. He's just not. He's a pocket passer, but he's really good when he's back there and he has time to throw the ball. I mean, he can throw it where it needs to be thrown, and obviously he's kind of shown that. He's a very accurate passer. You look at his completion percentage. But, you know, obviously it's like you said, he seems like when he's moving, running a little bit,
little
he's kind
trickier
of
for
making
him, yeah.
mistakes. But I think the best chance to win, you have Dowdy in the game for sure.
I agree.
I agree with that. I think, you know, Fishback is right on his tail, though, as far as starting.
Hey, I agree with that too.
Um,
I agree with that too.
You know, I think the biggest thing with Fishback is that sometimes I think because he is athletic, he relies on running out of the pocket too much when he should stay in the pocket, like Dowdy does sometimes.
Well, you
Because
see
that is a big thing that Dowdy does. He's very good at waiting in the pocket until the last second
Yeah.
and getting the ball off and getting it completed before he takes the hit.
That's what I say about Dowdy.
He's very composed.
That's what I say about Dowdy every time. You know, people I know are going to talk about his turnovers, but you got to give the guy credit for sitting in there in the pocket and waiting until the absolute last second to throw a ball, complete it, and then just take an absolute disastrous hit and just get up and keep doing it. So
Sometimes that's not always a good thing because sometimes he waits too long and, you know, he has nothing else to do but to throw it, and then he throws the interception.
it's true.
You know, so sometimes he has to know when to stay in the pocket and stay composed like he does, but he also needs to learn when he needs to roll out and try to pick up a few yards with his legs.
So-
I mean, picking up 5 yards running the ball is better than picking up no yards or throwing an interception.
So are you campaigning for Fishback this game? Is that what
No,
you're
no,
gonna
I still think Dowdy will be the starter. I think if the first half against Troy goes as bad as any of the game against Lafayette did, then I could see Fishback coming in and taking over in the second half.
I think Dowdy will have a little bit shorter leash Saturday for sure.
I think so too. I mean, you know, you kind of see Fishback coming in against Lafayette. A lot of that was because Dowdy got hit, you know, once and had to sit out a series or two. So, but yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Shane. I think Fishback's kind of on his tail, and really, I mean, I really see in a situation like that, like you said, I mean, I think the leash is probably going to be a little bit shorter, and we've seen Fishback come in.
I think Fishback can throw the ball pretty well too. He's
Yeah.
pretty accurate,
And he does really well doing the read option too, which can, you know, you kind of throw in that dynamic and give a defense you're facing that different look.
Yeah.
Then I mean, that could go a
look
long
how many
way.
issues we've had with a dual threat quarterback this year. Why not give the other team some issues for a change?
Why not give the other team their own medicine, man? Come on.
That's right.
Well, of course, a homecoming crowd. So what do you guys think about the crowd? You know, we're coming off a loss. We're
Depends
4-3
on weather.
We're 4-3 on the season. Let's throw out the weather aspect. Let's just pretend it's going to be 90 degrees and sunny. You know?
Oh, goodness.
90 degrees are probably too hot for some of our fans. Let's pretend it's going to be warm and 72.
72 and sunny.
Partially
We're
cloudy.
good.
90 degrees and sunny is going to be too much for some of our fans. Come on, Shane. But let's pretend like it's going to be nice weather Saturday. We're 4-3. We're coming off a loss. You know, a lot of people are kind of expecting us to have a better record. But what do you see for the homecoming?
What time's the game? I
3
should know
o'clock.
this.
3 o'clock. Well, those
I'd
nice.
say we'll probably have about that 18, 19,000 range. Not
I'd
quite a
say-
sellout,
I'd
but
say-
still a pretty good crowd.
I'd say probably around 19 or 20,
Yeah.
just because it's homecoming.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you guys. I mean, I think the crowd will still be good. You know, you look at it Saturday. It's Saturday, middle of the day, 3 o'clock. So, you know, that's kind of the peak time. That's going to be, the temperature's going to be up, which it may only be 58
The
degrees that
sun's
day.
going to
But
be in our eyes in the press box to make things horrible.
I'll be rolling around the sideline, so it
Wear
don't
my
matter.
sunglasses.
Definitely.
Duly noted.
But let's go around the table real quick. Predictions for Saturday's game against Troy.
I'm going to go WKU 35, Troy 31.
All right.
A little bit of a shootout, like you
Okay.
said.
I like that.
I'm going to say 38-31 Western.
38-31 Western. I'm going to go 42-39 Western.
Points for days.
That's right. Points for days. Now let's switch gears. Let's talk about the good Hilltopper
Basketball.
Hysteria
So
Saturday
excited.
night.
The
What did you
Dunk
guys
Fest?
think about it? What were your thoughts? Hey, first off, let's talk about the crowd. What did you guys think about
I
the
was
crowd?
actually fairly surprised at the turnout. That's probably the biggest Hysteria turnout
say so,
I think
yeah.
we've had since we started doing the event.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the crowd and
Around 4,200 guesstimated.
yeah, it's guesstimation right there.
Yeah.
I like that guesstimation. Yeah,
I mean,
I
if
would agree
students
with
would have showed up at all, too. I mean, there wasn't hardly any students there. I mean, you got to think
I
if
know
they...
you were tweeting about
I
that.
know, I was kind of disappointed, but...
Go ahead and give your public address announcement to the
Students,
students.
come on, y'all. Our basketball team's going to be awesome. Y'all come out and watch them.
I don't know if you noticed, but they took out the first few rows of seats in
Yeah.
the student section.
So you can stand up.
They did that because apparently the last couple rows of the student section last season was complaining because
Yeah,
the
I
front
know those
couple
people.
rows were standing up. So
Oh,
that's a
excuse
little
me.
bit, yeah.
Excuse me for being
Excuse
excited
them
during
for
a
being
basketball game.
students and standing up in the student section. But so they just took the seating out just so Western was kind of like, if you're going to sit down here in the first few rows, you're going to be standing up. That's all there is to
I mean, it
it.
wasn't that long ago when the whole end zone would be standing up.
I know.
I don't get what the... I don't know. Maybe
Could
what's
be
falling off
I
the
guess
days,
so,
Woody.
man. We're getting old.
Yeah, I know, man. We're like a bunch of grumpy old men
That's
on
right.
this show, man. Come on, you students. Get up. Get off your feet. But yeah, I mean, I like the crowd. What did you guys think about the scrimmages overall, both men's and women's? I know it's just a scrimmage. They didn't play a lot of defense, but what you guys
I
think?
mean, I'll go women's first just to, talk about them. I think, compared to what it's been the last couple of years, you can definitely tell that we've made another jump in talent. We've got some good guards in here that can handle the ball. Usually the past couple of years, Hysteria for the women have just been sloppy and turnovers and
Yeah.
missed layups, and we really didn't see much of that. They were getting after it. They were playing well, so I'm excited to watch them for
I
sure.
liked it. Yeah. You, Shane?
Yeah. I was very impressed with Ruda.
It's your girl.
Ruda Savic something.
I'm not even going to attempt the last name, but
yeah,
her first name
she's
is
a really
Ruda.
great player, but we're not going to butcher her last name, so we're
Yeah,
going to call her
yeah.
Ruda by her first name. So we'll keep it
But,
personal on here.
I think maybe we should start recruiting Slovenia a little more. If
She's a good player. I mean, she really
All
did.
those Eastern European countries are paying off for it.
Yeah, exactly.
well,
I don't know who's spanning the globe on that private jet.
I think
but
her and Chastity Gooch in the low post this year could
Yeah,
be
yeah.
an unbelievable tandem down there.
I think I can agree with that. But she put on a really good show for the crowd and the scrimmage and everything. And she looks like she's going to be a really good player and probably will compete right away and have a lot of minutes and be a big contributor for that team. So lots of great things to look forward. And let's go ahead and switch it over to the men.
Well, how about Trinity Jackson?
I think at the pace the men played their scrimmage, I think we're probably going to average about 120 points a game
That'd
this
be
year.
nice.
And we'll challenge
I
Lola
remember the
Marymount
days
for
where,
that scoring title.
With the Ralph Willard years and early Kilcullen years, they used to have the deal where if you scored 100 points, you got a free double cheeseburger from Rallies. I think they need to, bring that back and keep hooking us up. I took advantage of that a lot as like a 6-year-old. That was good times.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Because we used to score over 100
Yeah,
a lot.
that happened for sure.
But
Besides
like
the
you
free
said,
double cheeseburgers, anything else?
Sorry,
Woody?
food distracted me. Yes, like you said, I think Trinity Jackson's the story of the night. He's
19
had a lot,
points.
19 points. We talked a lot about him, and I didn't expect him at all to come out and shoot like that.
Yeah, he's.
If he can shoot half as good as that this season, he's going to be a very good player.
Well, he's been putting up a lot of shots in the offseason,
Yeah.
trying to work on his three-point shot. I know that was kind of a critique on him coming in, was that his shooting percentage wasn't necessarily very high. So, one thing he's worked on a lot in the offseason has been shooting the ball. And I think, when he was injured, he couldn't really do a whole lot of anything else but shoot. So, I think that, has kind of helped him in the long run and will pay dividends this season.
Well, speaking of Trinity Jackson, Brian Talley says, "Hey, TopperTalk TV, does Trinity Jackson move to the starting lineup once he is eligible? If so, whose spot does he take?"
I think he does.
Okay, whose spot does he take, Shane?
Honestly, I think he could end up being the starting point guard, running Trincy at the 1, TJ Price at the 2, and then you have Nigel at the 3, and
Really?
Fant and Rostov
Starting
at the 4
point
and
guard?
5. He could. I mean, he's the size of a point guard. He's not really the size of a shooting guard. He's only about 6'2". He has pretty decent ball handling, and he showed off some passing at Hysteria. I think he's going to be a combo guard. I think he'll see minutes at the point this year.
Okay.
But he could also come in at 2 guard and slide TJ over to small forward.
I think it's tough to predict starting lineup. I mean, Harper likes to experiment a little bit. I think the 4
Harper
guards between,
experiment.
for sure, between Harrison Docks and TJ and Trincy and then Brandon Harris. I think those four are going to be rotating a lot
Yep.
at the first three positions. And you throw Nigel in there at the 3 too. And that's not even mentioning like Caden or Kevin Casper.
Right.
I mean,
And they're going to get playing
they're
time
going
as
to
well.
play, yeah. Obviously Caden being a fifth-year senior, it's going to be hard to keep him off the floor too. So especially if he's hitting shots, hopefully, fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah, there you go.
But, man, it's just we're such a deep team compared to anything that I remember seeing. Like, I mean, I would feel fine with all 16 of the guys out there. We saw Percy Blade, who may be, the 16th man on the team this year. He started games last year.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, and you talking about us being so deep, that kind of brings us to the next question.
The next interaction.
Which
Segue.
Tyler Waddell said,
Segue.
you think this is Coach Harper's talent-wise best team he's had here at Western?
No doubt.
And I think the answer to that is no doubt. Yeah, you're right.
Even if you want to consider his time as an assistant, I think we're more talented than any of McDonald's teams.
Or as Blackstreet said back in the day, no diggity.
No diggity, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think not only talent-wise but depth. I think when you factor that in, because I know, we've had some, NBA players on the roster, and Jeremy Evans was here, Harper's first year, so there's been some talent on the roster, but I think top to bottom, there's no question.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody on this team can play. I mean, look at Brandon Price. He's 5'9", and he's just a hustle guy out
If
there.
he was 6'1", he would have had several D1
Oh, yeah,
scholarships.
definitely.
For sure. He
Yeah.
looks like a good player.
Yep.
Yeah, he's definitely a hustler. We've said that before. So give a shout out to Shelby Worthington, who says came home and mom and dad had TopperTalk TV on. That's a great family right there, watching some TopperTalk
Definitely
action.
friends of the show, for sure.
But just throw out some other questions from the Hilltopper Hysteria. Best dancer of the night? I mean, best dance intro.
It's got to be Brandon Harris.
Brandon Harris.
I'm going to go Kiera Muhammad.
Okay. there
Actually,
you
you
go.
know what? I'm going to go with Kiera.
Both of them were pretty impressive.
But Brandon, using the rope to walk himself
Yeah,
across the
the
court
invisible-
was
the invisible
rather
rope
nice.
I
dance is
know the
always-
ladies are loving Brandon with One Direction, too. It is what it is. But.
I'm gonna give a shout out to somebody that didn't dance but had great theme music, and that's assistant coach David Borden with some KRS-One intro coming out. So keeping it old school hip hop for David Borden. So
You would call that out.
I would call that out. Yeah, of course, that's what I do.
I appreciate some good old school hip hop, too.
Yeah. Was the dunk contest this year more impressive
Oh,
than
definitely.
last year?
Definitely better than last year.
I think we could say no diggity, no doubt on that one too. Best dunk of the night, I guess. Do you think Aaron Adeo really deserved to win that?
Kind of a default winner.
It's kind of default winner, I thought.
It was only
No.
because Trincy missed the between the legs 360.
Yeah, exactly.
But, which I've seen him do on his
Yes, I've seen
videos.
his
Yeah,
Instagram,
on his
yeah.
Instagram videos.
But
Teaser.
I think the best dunk of the night was still the lob from the stands from Percy Blade to
Yeah, that was-
Trincy.
I think
But
if you want to count scrimmage dunks, the lob that Trincy threw George was the best dunk
Yeah.
yeah,
that
I was
saw.
gonna say, I was gonna bring that up.
That was-
During the scrimmage.
I didn't know George had that in him.
I
He was
know.
bringing that to the table.
What kind of
I was actually impressed with TJ Price's tomahawk
Yeah.
throwdown too.
We're kind of used to George Fant maybe missing some dunks on breakaways,
Yeah,
but
he
I
did
mean,
not
he really
miss
threw
that
it down
one.
with the one hand and got some elevation on that. I was
Yeah.
fairly impressed with that. All right, give us some soccer and volleyball updates, man.
Soccer still sitting in first place. Lost their first conference game to Arkansas State, but
Oh,
still
come
can wrap up the regular season championship Saturday.
All
I
right.
believe Saturday against Georgia State, and then Friday. Sorry. And volleyball swept both of their teams this weekend. Still sitting in first place. Still doing well.
All right, sounds good. Well, you guys ready for some homecoming action Saturday?
Definitely.
I am.
Will you
Get
guys
some
be?
tailgating in,
Will you guys
hang
be
out
in the
with some
house?
I'll be there.
Will you guys be tailgating?
Definitely. I'll be.
I
Come
gotta
say
be up in
hi.
the press box, man.
All right, well that does it for this episode of Topper Talk. We'll be back next week, same Topper Talk
Go
time,
Tops.
same Topper Talk channel. Go Tops!
Go Tops.
I'm Mark Wahlberg in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
These are extremely rare. You're talking about something that's coming onto the market that nobody even knows is in existence.
Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable.
That surprised me.
Oh my goodness, I'm speechless.
That's a lot more than I thought.
Don't miss these appraisals and many more next time on Antiques Roadshow.
From the Amazon to the Andes, nature's aerial adventure continues in South America. This is a continent full of city scavengers and colorful characters. Creatures great and small come into view, all from the wings of birds. It's time